Hello everybody, Travis here for Tpull's Corner, and they're giving us a couple of draw spells up front, which are not even good until turn 4 at the earliest. But I guess we're going to take them. I don't think it matters because my experience with this deck has been utterly miserable the last 2 days playtesting it. This is a purely jank deck. It's made off of something I call the Scryfall Challenge. And I thought it would be fun, but I have done something to anger Magic the Gathering Arena Online. And you can see it's going to have just everything it can possibly think of against me. I will not stand a chance. I have suffered 4 turn kills from mono red aggro. They had the perfect blend of creatures and damage spells. I've gone up against mostly green ramp, where they ramp on turn 4 to get a couple extra lands, and then turns 5, 6, and 7 they're putting out a bunch of mythic rare massive creatures. Let's go ahead and put out Dorothea. We'll try and do... No, we can't attack into the 3/3. So we're just going to pass. We have to wait for them because they can hold up priority just by having Cavernous Maw and 2 open mana. They could transform it anytime they want. We just do a board wipe instead. We get to scry twice. I don't think we need more land at this point. Scheming Fence might be interesting. That only works on non-land permanents, so it can't work on Cavernous Maw. But we can bring down a Mirrex, and we can start making Phyrexian Mites. Entire braid against a 1/1, which we like. Let's try that again. Alright, let's try Edgar. And that doesn't work because that's not an activated ability, so we'll keep the Scheming Fence for something that has an activated ability. They just go for a board wipe again. This is kind of good for me because it transforms into the coffin. And I can go ahead and sacrifice that now. Draw 3 cards. Get my second blue source. And bring down another creature. A second Virtue of Persistence. They've already had 2 Calamitous Cave-ins they've been holding on to. Let's put down a Crawling Chorus. And we'll make a Mirrex. We're just going to hold our ammo. We couldn't attack with the Vampire because it was basically summoned just this turn. They're searching for 3 lands, so all of them are going to be caves. Yeah. So a cave Tpull deck. And now they can cast these Virtues of Persistence. So I guess the first thing we do is we attack. And we don't bother using anything in our hand. Chimley the Inner Sun comes out, so now they'll be able to discover 5 at the end of every turn. They get to do spelunking. Another cave, so they get 4 life. They're already back up to 20. Let's go ahead and bring out Dorothea. Put it on Edgar. See if they have a counter spell. Just something to destroy Edgar. Another might. That's a lot of caves. Alright, they're going to get to discover twice with Chimo. We can raid to get rid of 1 creature. Oh, they're going to destroy the coffin. That gets rid of Edgar. That's a good play. I think we just attack. They should want to stop a poison creature, and that's when we use Iganjo. And now they really need a board weapon. Even stuff that can just take out, just do 1 point of damage to everybody. Or do a -1/-1. Thankfully, the Virtue of Persistence is not going to be enough. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. And Portal to Phyrexia, while normally deadly, is actually not enough. So they need another Calamitous Cave-In off of Chimmel, out of their half of their deck that they've gone through already. They're not going to wait for it. They're not going to try. Okay. We won one. We are not at 50% win rate yet. Far from it. I had a deck where an opponent put out Mondrak, created an entire incubation army with just 2 other spells. I got rid of Mondrak. They just gave a willing trade, and then they proceeded to stomp me to death with their army of incubated artifact creatures. It seemed pretty effortless. But let's show you what this deck is and where it came from. A couple of days ago, I put together a poison deck, a toxic deck. It's under the toxic playlist. And so for those of you that are new, I've got, I don't know how many playlists I have, but anytime that I make a toxic deck, it goes under the toxic playlist. So we've got 9 or 10 decks under there. They're all what I like to describe as depressingly effective. I'm not the biggest fan of poison, but I do have a grudging respect for it. I do think there's a place for it in the game, I've decided by now. but I know there are some people that absolutely loathe it. But I made a deck, and the creature that I used was, I was looking at the mechanic of Corrupted, right? So I used Vivisection Evangelist. And I went to Scryfall to look up the card because I wanted to make a thumbnail with it. And I typed in the beginning of the word Vivisection. I typed in Vivisect. And so a number of cards popped up, and I have all the cards. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what I do sometimes. I don't think I've published a video along these lines before, so I'm going to give you an insight into how my brain works when I'm ready to have fun with my jank. And let me just see if I can show you. I have to wait for the server, wait for the browser. I have to wait for everything to decide to work. Let me bring the browser over now. And so here's Scryfall.com. It's a great little searchable database resource. And I typed in Vivisect, and it shows me the Vivisection Evangelist. It also showed me the Vivisection card in the Phyrexian Vivisector. So I do what I do sometimes is I type in a word on Scryfall, I see what cards come up, and I make a deck based on those cards. And sometimes I have to go into historical because they have additional cards pop up. But in this case, we had just these cards pop up, and they're all current in the current modern expansion sets. So I figured Vivisector was close enough to Vivisection. I was already going to be in black colors, right? The white, black, and blue, the Mardu colors are determined by these two cards. So Vivisector was close enough, I thought. So I want to make a deck around having these three cards. What other cards would work with these three? So I made a deck, and we call it Mardu Vivisection. Come on. And so we're using the Vivisection Evangelist again, which we used in the deck a couple days ago. So Corrupted, when it enters the battlefield, if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, you destroy the target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. So I do need some poison stuff. So I've got 3 Crawling Chorus with Toxic. And when it dies, you get the Phyrexian Might token that also has Toxic, but it can't block. And I have the 4 Merrick's lands, which also create the poison. And I have the 4 Vraska's Fall. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker and gets a poison counter. And something that I don't normally use, but I have 1 copy of it now. I made all these Toxic decks before I ever got Vraska, right? She's got an ultimate -9 ability. If target player has fewer than 9 poison counters, they get a number of poison counters equal to the difference. So, there's an additional way that we can win by poison with this deck, but the point's not really to win by poison. The point is just to get 3 poison counters so I can do Corrupted, so I have another form of removal with these Evangelists when they come into the battle. This deck is a little bit different than the deck from a couple days ago because I added in 2 copies of Abuelo Ancestral Echo. It's a legendary spirit, 2/2 flying with Ward 2, so hopefully it stays around for a while. If I get this out when the Evangelist is out, I can use 3 energy, only one of which has to be white mana, the other has to be blue. You exile another target creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So if I've got the Corrupted, if my opponent has the 3 poison counters, and I use Abuelo to exile the Vivisection Evangelist, it will come back into battle at the end of my beginning of my end step, and I can destroy another creature or planeswalker. So suddenly I have infinite creature removal and infinite planeswalker removal on a 1-by-1 basis. If I have 6 energy I haven't used, and I've got 2 Evangelists down, I can exile 2 Evangelists in 1 turn and take out 2 creatures or 2 planeswalkers. So kind of nice combo. We'll see if we get it going or not. The Phyrexian Vivisector, whenever a creature you control dies, you scry 1. So to help us out, I've got some stuff that works with sacrifice, right? I've got Dorothea, Vengeful Victim, 2 copies of this legendary spirit that flies. When it attacks or blocks, you sacrifice it at the end of combat, which triggers the Vivisector. Also, if you bring it back as an enchantment and enchant a creature, whenever that creature attacks, you get to create a 4/4 white spirit creature token. It's flying, it's tapped and attacking. You sacrifice that token at the end of combat. So whether we're using Dorothea or Dorothea's Retribution, if we have a Vivisector out, we're going to get to scry 1. What else do I have to help us out? I got one copy of Scheming Fence. As it enters the battlefield, you may choose a non-land permanent. Activated abilities of the chosen permanent can't be activated. So if green's got some mana dork, suddenly I get it. And the Scheming Fence has all activated abilities of the chosen permanent, except for loyalty abilities. And thankfully, you can spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate those abilities. We've also got Feast of the Victorious Dead, one copy of this enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if one or more creatures die this turn, you gain that much life, and distribute that many +1/+1 counters among creatures you control. So when Dorothea dies, or the 4/4 spirit creature token dies from Dorothea's Retribution, we're going to gain a life. We're going to get a +1/+1 counter. It goes on another creature. Invasion of New Phyrexia. I got 2 copies of that. We can use the X to create as many 2/2 white and blue night creature tokens with vigilance as we can stomach. And if we can transform the battle, we can get a planeswalker out of it, Teferi Kosa of Zalfir, which will be fun. Let's see, we covered Vraska's Fall and Abuelo. I've got 4, I don't have a ton of removal. I got the 4 Vraska's Falls. I got 1 Legion to Ashes. So if they try tokens against me, if this pops up, I can get rid of all the tokens. That would have been handy against the Mondrak deck, but it didn't come up. I've got 2 copies of Void Wren. This spell can't be countered, so you just destroy the target non-land permanent. And so 4, 5, 6, 7 removal spells. And if I get corrupted with the Vivisection Evangelist, then I'll have, 11, I guess. And technically we can have Vraska. If we get Vraska out, target creature becomes a treasure artifact, so we can get rid of another creature that way. So you'll notice I'm taking advantage of the Mardu colors, using Streets of New Capenna spells. So from that expansion, that's Obscura, technically. So just in case, you want to keep things straight with the current expansion. Okay, this is the other card. Vivisection. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you sacrifice a creature, then draw 3 cards. I've got some things in here that I don't mind sacrificing. The Crawling Chorus, I'm going to get another 1/1 Might with Toxic, so I don't mind sacrificing it, or maybe I've already got the Phyrexian Mites. Maybe I can create them, a 1/1 with the Mirrex. So easy to sacrifice those. If I do, I could scry one with Vivisector. If it's out, I could get a life and get a counter with Feast of Victorious Dead. In the meantime, I also have Vivisurgeon's Insight, draw 3 cards and proliferate. So if I'm getting +1 counters off of Feast of Victorious Dead, I can proliferate and get more counters. So that's kind of fun. I started off with 4 copies of Vivisurgeon's Insight, but having 8 5-drops, it just kept giving me all of them up front, and I would just have all these dead cards in my hand. So I had to cut back, and I added in the Vraska's Falls in their place so that I could have some removal. Let's see, what else? We've got Edgar Charmed Groom, 2 copies of the legendary Vampire Noble. When he dies, it just gets transformed into the coffin, and we start getting 1/1 white and black vampire creature tokens. Those are also great to use for sacrificial fodder. We've got 1 copy of Rhea Ivor, Bane of Bladehold, with Battle Cry, so when we attack with it, every other attacking creature also gets +1 to their strength. The way this works, at the beginning of combat on your turn, the next time a target creature would deal combat damage to 1 or more players this combat, which it says 1 or more players, so this is something that can be designed to be used in Commander. You prevent the damage. If the damage is prevented this way, then you get to create that many colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens. So if, say Rhea Ivor is the only one on the battlefield, right? You attack with it, you target it, instead of dealing 3 damage, you get 3 Phyrexian Mites at the end of the turn. They just get created right away. From Ixalan, I have 1 mythic rare copy of Vito, Fanatic of Aclazotz. Vito has been around many years. I think he's very popular. But Legendary Vampire Demon here, 4/4 flyer. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, you gain 2 life if this is the first time. If you do it a second time to sacrifice another permanent, the opponent loses 2 life. If it's the third time, create a 4/3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying that you see pictured to the right. So I don't have many ways to trigger this 3 times in a row. I could do a sacrifice with Vivisection, right? I could sacrifice Dorothea or the spirit creature token there. And I do have a copy of Hostile, so I could sacrifice a creature there. That would give me 3 sacrifices. But I'd have to have all of those available, right? I'd have to have that card, and that card. And then I'd have to have Vito on the field. So very rare. Don't expect that to happen. I would probably design a different deck if I had more copies of Vito and were designing a deck around him. That would make much more sense. But I have one copy. It's a 4/4 flyer. I wanted to have something flying that could run some damage besides just a couple of Dorotheas. Anyway, that's the deck. And now you know what the Scryfall challenge is. Our win record during playtesting was abysmal. But you saw that we can win with it. And I enjoyed the concept, so every now and then I'll go to Scryfall, I'll type in a word. Maybe it's a creature type, and I want to see how many types there are, how many copies of, you know, like an elf or a dwarf or whatever. And I want to see them across the generations of Wizard expansion sets. And sometimes I'm just typing in a kind of rare word like Vivisection and saying, okay, what kind of deck am I going to make today? But so this is the first time that I've taken one of those ideas and actually made a video out of it. So hopefully y'all enjoy this. If you do, remember to like and subscribe. We've got a cheap creature. We've got an early removal. I think this is all okay to start with. And we have Toxic, so I guess we've been shoved over into the Toxic queue. So we're going to come up against a lot more Poison decks than we normally do. Poison is alive and well on Magic, and if you haven't been encountering them enough, just make a deck with Toxic in it, and you will start to see decks like this. It's amazing how easy that works. Okay, let's just do... exile it, I guess. Let's see. I kind of just want to bounce the 3/3. It's got double strike, but I missed a land drop. So let's make them choose the first one. They actually get rid of that one. Okay. Let's see. What do they need to equip that? They need 5 to equip it. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to that Otawara for a second. Maybe I can get a 4th land. It doesn't matter what color. I can, whatever color they give me, I'll have the 3 colors available to me to be able to do this. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's wait. It's an instant, so we have a chance to see what's going to happen here. And this is only World 1, right? Oh, it's Agatha's Cauldron. Hey. Let's get rid of this. Merix comes down. Phyrexian Vivisector comes down. Ooh. That's a tough one. Especially if they equip it with double strike. Oh, thank you. That's good timing. That is not. And that's bad news for us. All we did was get a land. I guess we do this. We need to get other stuff. I think we're too late. I think we're too far behind the curve already. They can just create more cats all the time. We're not going to have time to use the draw card spell. The Evangelist can't destroy anything because we're just nowhere near close to giving them a third poison counter right now. I guess we chump block this one. I don't think I need more land. I've got a land to play next turn. I need to bring down Vraska. Don't really care if they kill it. I just need to get rid of Kemba so that it can't keep creating cats every turn. Because whenever a cat comes, they just get to attach this and get double strike every time.
My will cannot be broken. Another for my collection.
But if they ignore the Planeswalker and go straight for my face, I'm nearly dead. Trumpeting Carnosaur. Yeah, that's a big threat. I think I'm dead. He lasted for a while. All they needed was 5 lands to make all of that work. I gave them the treasure with Kemba for the 6 energy. Okay, they go for the Planeswalker at least.
I have much to accomplish.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can do 5 of these. I'll have to chump block 1 against the double striker there. I don't really have a way of getting things out of the graveyard so much, except for the Dorotheas. But I don't think I have a way of dealing with the artifacts, so they've got me beat there too. Yeah, that should take care of me pretty much, huh? They didn't attack? That's a little weird. Still no poison counter there. Shoot. passing. Ottawa's got to bounce the Carnosaur. Okay. Sacrifice a creature. Draw 3 cards. You get to scry first. Abuelo is kind of interesting. I guess I take it. It's not enough in and of itself. But Vraska's Fall is. Okay, so this'll work. We bring this down. We're not attacking with anybody. We really can't afford to. We're still on defense. They can bring down the Carnosaur again and discover 5, though. They choose Urbrass Forge instead. If that comes out on turn 3, they pretty much got me beat. Uh-oh. There's too many of these things that can create cat creatures. I guess we go ahead and try and block this. We're so low on life. If they've got a trick here, we want to see it. Okay, they're just creating more 1/1s. Alright. Vraska's Fall. They're just going to sacrifice a 1/1. But then we get to do this. I think we get rid of one of these. Probably should have gotten rid of Baird. But I used all my energy. Here comes the Carnosaur again. Another Forge. The Forges, I think, are going to be the death of me. I don't have time to get rid of the army of creatures and figure out what to do against the Forges. I don't think I have a way to take care of the Forges. Opponent can exile one more thing. They're taking their own sweet time. They're just not attacking. If I had my enchantment out, I could be gaining life off of these things, and I could be pumping up my creatures. Oh, look at that. Okay, it's too bad I can't afford to do that yet, because I have to do something else instead. Let's see, 2. Well, no, I think I have to. I think I have to do it this way. So, Vivisection Evangelist comes down. We destroy the Trumpeting Carnosaur. Then we use Abuelo. We exile the one that just came down. We don't attack anything. He comes back, we get rid of Baird so they don't keep getting 1/1s. And all their best creatures are gone now. Okay. Well, that's our next target next turn. If they can't get rid of Abuelo, we can at least get rid of their creatures. Okay, there we go. This is the last time we can block the forge stuff without losing horribly. Okay, so you can bring this out. I can go ahead and get rid of one of these. I can choose this as an attacker. I think we try and go get the Planeswalker. Bring that back, get rid of the Hiri. Now they understand what kind of a threat Abuelo is. Do they have removal? Activated release can't be activated, so I need the other Abuelo now. Gain control of somebody. It's not looking good, sports fans. Blocking all of that. We're losing most of our stuff. And our creature removal combo is gone. We get to scry 3. See if there's anything that can help us. Edgar's kind of a good choice. We'll take Edgar. I mean, there's not like there's anything left. I used Void Rend already. I used both Void Rends and the Legion to Ashes, so that's most of my removal other than just some other Vraska's Falls, which they would just use to get rid of 1/1, so it just none of my removal matters anymore. Okay, so we bring Edgar out. We use Vivisection to sacrifice the one that can't block. Scry first. Hostile is too late, too little. We draw 3 cards, which is 2 lands and yet another draw card spell. And I can't do anything. I can go ahead and increase Edgar, I guess? No, we're going to use Edgar as a chump blocker. We'll increase one of these guys. This only works at the beginning of my end step, so if things die here during their turn, it doesn't matter. If I can get another Abuelo, that might be cool. Never mind. We held on for a long time, but this is starting to be ugly. You think if they'd attacked with the others, they could have bum rushed me by now? They've got a double strike equipment there. They're just completely not using. Okay, Edgar becomes the coffin. We get to scry again. Bingo. That's kind of what we need, actually. That's kind of a good one. Come on. There we go. Okay, now they're exiling theirs. Ooh, I need to figure out some kind of removal. Oh, everybody's getting so big so fast. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can do 8 of these. I think that's my best move for this turn. I don't have any flyers though, so I can't get past anyone. There we go. There's their double striker. Okay, what do we do here? We chump block there. I'll take 1 point of damage. No, I can go there and actually gain 1 point of life. That's a lot of scrying. No, I'm already going to do that next turn, right? So I should go look for something besides land and a draw spell. 3 lands in a row. 4 lands in a row. 5 lands in a row. 5 lands in a row. Another Edgar. Another Edgar is actually useful. I'm not kidding. I could have that be a flyer. I think we just go ahead and sacrifice another one of these. Scry 1. I already got one of those. I guess we bring down Dorothea. I do have a flyer now, at least. Can't get past the 9/9, so still can't do any attacks. But I can increase this by 1. I'm pretty sure they could just bum rush me right now. They get rid of Dorothea, get the scry 1 off of that. Sure. I'll take another one of those. Ah. There goes my army. I still can't convert the battles. My second copy of Abuelo is nowhere in sight. If I'd gotten another copy of Abuelo, I would have thinned this out so much. Tons of scrying again. Let's see. We keep this copy of the legendary. And scrying doesn't matter because we want to keep this removal to get rid of the 10/10 anyway. You come down. We get rid of you. We make you choose another creature to get rid of. These are all big threats now, so anything they lose is actually worthwhile now. We get down this, which can actually be a chump blocker. And we still can't really attack with anybody. I can go ahead and block with this against their biggest one. But I'm running out of stuff. How many cards do they have? They've gone through half their deck. I've gone through more than half of mine. It's amazing, they've only got 8 lands there. With the draw spells, I've gone through at least 16 of my 24 lands. Even more. Okay, so I can block with the 8/8. We block you with Edgar again. Go get a couple of life gain points. My 4th Vivisection Evangelist. Okay. I guess we get rid of Myrel. We can bring this puppy down. I don't think it really matters. We just can't do anything with any of that. And where the heck is my Abuelo? Where's the other Abuelo? How many cards deep do we still know what is in the bottom of our graveyard? There's like 9 cards that we know of. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna give up the ghost. That was really long. We lasted a really long time. But they're just, you know, I can't do anything about the 2 forges. I didn't have room to deal with anything with artifacts after I put in my Vivisection cards. That was kind of fun. Come on. Yeah, with as much draw as I had through my deck, I guess maybe I just need to have a 3rd copy of Abuelo in there. I had enough energy, and at some point, basically, I was going to have all 4 Evangelists out, and I could exile all 4 every single turn, and I would be able to destroy 4 creatures. And at that point, I might be able to win and get past, survive the Urbrass Forge. But I'd gone through most of my removal and my 2 sieges already, so I didn't have any weapons left. And Abuelo, the new copy that I could use, was just taking way too long. It's weird, that's the one kind of removal spell they had was the only one they played the entire match. And that was the one thing they needed to do to shut me down. And if I'd got my 2nd copy, I still wouldn't have been shut down. I would have been rolling again. But really, really weird deck that they were able to do just that one spell, and then all the rest is just attacking creatures the entire time. Artifacts and artifacts and artifacts. That was a really long battle. Kind of fun, but still unsatisfying. We'll do one more against a massively oversized deck of 179 cards. And they get a dual land right up front. I think we built up so much on that last battle with so many things on the field state. My computer's having trouble catching up now. Is this just going to be a cheap soldier deck after all that? Yep. Look at that. 179 cards and he just got cheap chumps. We don't need to worry about the ward cost. They have to choose which one gets sacrificed, and that means since the opponent's choosing, the opponent's not affected by ward. So it doesn't matter which one they choose, we won't have to pay any ward cost for that. Unfortunately, I don't have any board wipes in here. I've been staying away from board wipes. I think I have a tendency to want to do those board wipes. My opponent does not miss a land drop. Second poison counter. If I can get a third one in, I've got my combo here. But can I survive long enough? Which one do I do? I think we do this first. They shouldn't be able to or want to deal with all three of those right this second. Gee whiz. All right. Gonna let it through. Okay, Void Wren takes out Intrepid Adversary. Boom. They still get a card draw out of this. We kind of managed our own board wipe for a second. But just having these two enchantments out is... oh man. That's already so good. This can turn into a 1/4. 2, 3. So I can make them lose life just by attacking with this in a... oh no. They got all of those creatures out. So I think I need to bring this puppy out.
Cherish the final moments
Just
of
get
your
rid of...
lives.
which one do we get rid of? I think we get rid of the Cathar.
Gaze into my
Go ahead and
eyes.
try and get the opponent. They can just chump block with the 1/1 if they want. I don't think they'll give up the Beast Collar. There we go. So they still get their card draw. And we can't get that third poison counter on them. Well, if Vraska survives... oh, never mind. They get exactly what they need.
The only just course.
Exactly what they need for everything. So I guess I have to put this down now. I don't know if that was really right, but I didn't draw what I needed. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Almost 180 cards, and they just get exactly what they need for the cheap removal. Two mana spells. Yeah, we're dead. Again, I had the combo in my hand. Had a Merrick's that I could have made. I just didn't have any time. They got so much card draw advantage, so many advantage every single turn. Just couldn't quite get it done. Arena does that to me sometimes. When I make a deck, they'll give me something, right? They'll give me the combo, but they won't quite let me get to it. And I always think if I get just one more turn where I can do what I want, I'll be sitting pretty. And I never get the tempo to do it. Alright, well this is the deck. It is kind of, I mean, I don't know if you want to try it or not. Let me know if you do try it. It's got some of the similarities from the deck a couple days ago with Corrupted, but we had a lot more success with the Corrupted deck. Maybe Vraska shouldn't be in there. You know, if I'd had been just one more chance to do the 0, I could proliferate and give them the 3rd poison counter, and then Evangelist would have been effective, and we could have started destroying creatures. Then we could have got Abuelo down, and we could have just recycled getting rid of the creatures every turn. And at some point, we were going to be able to turn the game around. But you know, they just had too many threats out every single turn, too fast for us. We couldn't get to it. I mean, maybe I should be burning some more wild cards so I could get some more Legion to Ashes in there. Maybe I just need a board wipe. Like I said, I tend to use board wipes a lot, so I've been very consciously staying away from them and kind of sticking with single point to point removal spells. And that's just been a personal choice for me, just because I recognize that I have a tendency to rely on board wipes a lot. And I didn't want my videos all to be starting to have the exact same cards in them all the time, you know, and to always be looking too similar. But this is what we get when we try just for pure fun jank. Sometimes the decks themselves are not too successful, but just go to Scryfall, type in a term, type in something that you think you might want to play with, and make a deck around it. Let me know if you do. It's fun if you post a comment and post your deck list. Maybe if I have all those cards, I'll play it online as well. But now you know about the Scryfall challenge and how you can just, if you're stuck for a concept and you want to create a new deck, maybe you're not good at making decks yourself. Maybe you're just, there's so many options, you're just frozen. You know, choose one word. You know, choose invasion, choose feast, choose crawling. You know, see what pops up. See if you've got some cards in Historic. You can go in Historic and make a Historic Scryfall Challenge deck. But anyway, let me know what you think of this stuff. As always, we ask you to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.